about rejection. I don't like it. I'm betting you don't either. You know, here's the thing. Rejection is something that actually triggers a genuine chemical reaction inside of our bodies. In fact, when you are faced with rejection, you feel like you don't belong, you feel like you're being excluded or any of those sorts of things, it's going to trigger your fight or flight response. Now, here's something that is scientifically proven. When you are in fight or flight, where does the blood in your body go? I'm gonna give you a minute. It goes to your extremities so that you can fly away or fight or whatever it is that you want to do, but it all goes to your extremities. So where does that mean it's not? It's not in your brain. So when you are in a position of sales or anything else in your mind, I don't know about you, but I've had those situations where somebody said something, they're like, no, I'm not good. I don't want that. Or you don't belong, or whatever it is. And in that moment, you're like, I have nothing to say. But then you get going afterwards and you're like, I should have said this. I should have said that. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so funny. I'm so this. I could have come up with all of these different things. But the reality is when you're in the midst of that rejection, when you're in the midst of that fight or flight, you're going to come up against a wall where the blood simply drains from your brain. So how do you get past that? Well, first of all, we need to understand that everybody gets rejected at some point. Everybody in sales will be rejected. It's not if, it's not maybe, it's not, you will get rejected. Heck, half of you already stopped watching this video. What can I say? Got rejected. But here's the thing. Rejection is something that we all have to deal with. But rejection's also a numbers game. For everybody you ask, let's say you ask 100 people, I'm going to bet 10 of them say yes. You're gonna ask 100 people for their email address and they're gonna look at you and say, why? You know, on Facebook, how many of you have ever run an ad? Have you ever run an ad on Facebook? And then it says that you've had, hundreds of impressions and you had 2 people sign up for your lead magnet. That's called rejection. You got rejected by hundreds of people before those 2 signed up. But do you really care about those hundreds? No. Well, maybe you might want to check out to see if there's something off with your copy, but that's another conversation. But the reality is, you got 2 people in there. You got 2 people to come into your pipeline. You got 2 people into your funnel, into your sequences, and all of that. But now you want to work with that. And once you get those 2 people in, are you guaranteed they're going to buy something? Heck no. It's still a numbers game. But the thing is if you focus on everybody who says no, rather than those that say yes, it's not going to help you. The only way it's going to help you is when you know what your close rate is. Let's say you have people that are in your pipeline and you know that once they get to a certain point of your pipeline, you're going to close 7 out of every 10. That's great. So that means you're looking for the 3 that are going to say no. Why? Because you know the next 7 are going to say yes. But you're not going to get to the point of getting those 7 to say yes until you can get those 3 to say no. Rejection is a numbers game. You will not get rejected 100% of the time if you are creating offers that your audience actually wants. You're putting options and opportunities in front of them that solve the problems that they're facing. You want to also create a script. And I don't actually like scripts. You might have been able to tell by this video, I don't follow a script. But you want to follow a framework. And I kind of call it like a script framework. But you want to know that when you go and you ask somebody something, you're on a conversation with them, you're putting out the proposal, you're going through the proposal, you want to make sure that you know what those most common objections are and create a framework or create a bit of a script for it so that when they say no and that blood drains all the way down to your toes and your brain stops thinking for a minute, you have just a split second there. You can flip back to that script framework that you have so that you can go through and you can rebut that objection without even having to think about it. Heck, if you're doing this on Zoom or some other digital way, have it written right beside you. It makes life so much easier. In fact, I challenge you to come up with like 3 to 5 main objections that your clients tend to come with. Because I don't know about you, but when I first started in sales, a lot of times people would tell me no, and I'd be like, oh, okay then, because I didn't know what else to say. By having that objection list beside you, knowing what it is that they're actually going to say no to, and being able to have that rebuttal sitting there right there waiting to happen, it's so much easier. And then the final tip that I have for you, don't take it personal. You don't know what it is that made them say no. They're not actually saying no to you as a human being. They're saying no to the offer that you put in front of them. They're saying no to the proposal that you created for them. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to what it is that you offered. So the question always comes back to, what could you have done differently? What could you have put into that offer differently? Could you have asked the question differently? And better yet, did you actually ask for the sale, or do you just think you got rejected? Meanwhile, the poor client thinks they got rejected because nobody actually asked them if they wanted to book. Just some food for thought.